Welcome everybody. We're going to do the MemSQL developer live stream. Today we're going to dial out the product detail page and take a look at how we can modify content to make it work just great with MemSQL, with Vue, and with our Node API, all in TypeScript. So let's start in. Here's the code so far. You can go to github.com/robrich/product-catalog and you can clone it and continue on. Continue sending in your pull requests and feedback there, or if you want to tweet me or enter comments here in chat, then that's great as well. A user pointed out that if we're spinning up localhost 8080 for MemSQL tools, and we're also spinning up our Vue spa on localhost 8080, that those will collide. That was a great suggestion. So let's go solve that. Let's solve that first. Here inside our package.json for our app, Vue CLI service serve, we can say -- port is 4000. And by saying port 4000, now instead of starting up on 8080, it will start up on 4000. So let's start up all the things. We've already got our database started up, Docker Compose up. Let's start up our Node API, npm run start. That'll kick off the TypeScript build and host our web app at port 3000. And let's kick off our API, npm run serve. And now on port 4000, our content is ready to go. Next up, we'll need to initialize our database. So let's log into localhost 8080. And we're familiar with the SQL content that we have right here. Here's setup.sql. And we can run each piece into place. So I've done that previously. And so if we take a look at our database, we see we've got the one product ready to go. Now on localhost 4000, oh, that's 8080. Localhost 4000. Here's our home page. We've got some logo work to work on. Our about page. Last time we worked on the product detail page, and this works great. We've got our JSON values rendering. We've got our content. Our product list page is what we'll want to work on next. Right now, it's completely empty. So let's start there. Here in our API, let's first build out the routes. So routes, new file, products.ts. And I'll separate this from product.ts because product will be the CRUD for one thing and products will be the CRUD for the list. Now I can do things like paging and other filtering and querying, so that works. So here, instead of selecting a product ID, let's select a page. And so we'll grab in page num. And that isn't the greatest way to validate it. So let's say parse int request params page 10. Okay, we've got our page num. I'm going to say const page size equals 20. We can play with that if that makes sense. And const active equals true. We may want to take in a parameter. Yeah, let's actually do that. Let's take in a parameter. If you pass in request.query.active, then we'll filter based on the active query. So if type of request.query.active not equals undefined, no, equals undefined, or request.query.active equals true, then we will show only active things. So if you didn't pass it, it will be undefined and we'll make it true. If you did pass it and it's true, it's going to be a string here. So we'll need to either cast it into a Boolean or just match it to true. Now we have an active. Let's select ID product code, name, description, properties, and active from catalog where active equals active or active equals true. Limit page size offset page num times page size. Now the cool thing is, because our page size or our page num is base 0, I just made that up, then we can just do this. We don't have to, subtract anything. So that's cool. If we didn't get any rows, let's return, rather than returning rows 0, let's say rows 0 or an empty array. So if there aren't any products, we'll just return you an empty array. That's great. Let's restart our API. npm run start. Now this is running on localhost 3000, so let's go to localhost 3000, API, products, and let's look for page 0. And we get a 404. We forgot something. Back in the code, here in our app.ts, we're pulling in the product controller, but we're not yet pulling in the products controller. So let's do that. Let's also wire this up to the URL. API products goes to the products router. That's perfect. And let's kick off our API again. npm run start. API products. Is it started? You have an error in your SQL syntax, or active equals true. Let's look at that SQL syntax. Select ID, product code, name, definition, properties, active from catalog where active equals question mark or active equals true, limit, offset, limit, offset. Let's start that again. If that doesn't work, let's go debug the API, and that'll be really fun. API, TypeScript compile, and our API is ready to go. Products. I still have an error in my syntax. Let's reach into the oven and go find the products controller. For some reason, execute doesn't like it, but query does. Let's see how that works. Kicking off our API again. I didn't wait long enough for it to start. There we go. We've got our product out of our API. Perfect. So now our API is done. Let's consume that. We have a product list page here, but currently our product list page doesn't do anything. It just shows product list. Let's look to product detail and do similar things. So product detail will show the product, or it will show errored, or it'll show not found. In the case of our product list, we probably don't want to show a not found. We'll just say there aren't any. We may come back and visit that. But here we'll show a product list. Product. We'll pass in the products there. If products.length. Okay. Now we do need to pull in our controls. Let's pull in all of these, and we'll probably need to cut out some. That's okay. So we don't need not found, and we're going to pull in a product list component. Pardon me. Our product list component doesn't exist yet, but we'll ignore that for now. Product, that's perfect. And not that unlike the way we built out the interface here and the fetch method, we can probably just pull all of this and set it in place. We will need to adjust the content, but having, not found is not a thing. This is product list. Granted, it doesn't exist yet. We won't have an ID, but we will have a page. And let's say currently this page is 0. The status, the errored, this is products. And let's give it an empty array. Product list model there. The product list model similarly will have a page that'll be a number. And this is products, which is a product array. That is perfect. Cool. So we're pulling in page. Now that may not be a thing. We may not have a page. So if this.id is less than 0 or is not a number, this.id, then let's set this.page to 0. We'll start with page 0. Page, page, page. Perfect. Now the response is a product array. And instead of API product, let's go to API products to this.page. And it looks like the rest of this is going to work out great. Now when we fire it up, TypeScript is going to say, hey, I don't have a product list component. Oh, undefined is not assignable to product array if this.status is less than 300 and result.data. That'll get us the content. So if we have a product array and we have a non-error status, we'll do great. Components, we'll just stub this out for now. New component product list.view. I'll pull some of this styling out. We'll come back to styling. This is products. Oh, type product. Oh, type array. Products. The bummer part is that I really want this to be a product array, but that's a TypeScript concept, not a Vue concept. And so I just have to say array and assume that you're passing in a product array. Bummer. Okay. So we don't have any content yet, so I'll just empty all this out. But now we have a component. So our build is going to work as expected. That's great. Let's fire up the page. Localhost now 4000 because we're proxying from Vue into our API. Our product index page still works great. And our product list, F12. Let's take a look at the content returned. So we did, nope, here it is. We did a link out to our API. We've got back the product that we expect. I'm using the Vue developer tools. Oh, let's fire up the Vue developer tools. Vue developer tools. Vue developer tools in the Chrome store will allow us to see into our components, and that will be really helpful. Add extension. It's also really helpful to look into our Redux store or our Flux store. In Vue, it's called Vuex. Let's close this tab. Close this tab so that it can reload that site. And now I see Vue lit up. Nope. We'll need to restart the browser to make that happen. But anyway, we've got our content, no errors in the console. Let's start dialing out this page. I come here to the card component, and that looks pretty cool. Let's grab the code for Vuetify's card and set it in place here. Now I am going to loop through the cards, or I'm going to loop through the data. So let's also set up a v4. v4 product in products, and that's going to need a key, and we'll say product.id. So now that we have got a product ID, now we can dial out the rest of the pieces. Docs. Let's give it a title of, how did I do that here? Product detail. Nope, product list. Product name, product ID. Okay, so we'll show our product name, we'll show our product ID as a link off into the product detail page. And do we need any styling? Nope. Okay, so let's fire up that page. Here's our product list. It'll go do the database call. We've got our results back, and it's still empty. Where did we fall off? For product in products. Let's go refresh this and take a look. Product list.vue. Key is product ID, vcontainer. Ah, yes. Ending with vcontainer rather than div is definitely an important thing there. Hehe. Let's look at the product list. Did we get something astray there? Nope, it looks like it might be okay. Okay, so clearly we don't have the results though. Here's where the Vue developer tools are really, really helpful. Yeah, there we go. Vue developer tools. Here's our top header, which is really cool to wander through. Our product list we've got our products, and we've got one item in, oh, it's an object that came back, not an array. That makes sense, because here in products, we're returning the, oh, we are returning the rows. Okay, that wasn't it. I'm gonna double check. Products. Yes, we're only returning the first element, not all of the rows. Oh, I think we need to dive into unit testing, because the unit test there failed, except for we didn't have one. That was pretty silly. Okay, so let's take a look at the products. The system has errored. Network could not proxy host, probably because it hadn't booted yet. Let's see if it's good now. Yeah, there we go. We've got our product list. Let's click into it, and we've got our product detail page. That is perfect. So now this product one header probably isn't necessary. Let's go remove that. Here in our app component, we have all of the buttons that we have in the header, and let's just remove product one. A quick refresh, and now we've just got the product list. In time, we probably want to dial out the about page too, but that looks cool. Now I noticed something here. Here up in the corner, our URL is /product/1. So, well, what if I go to product 2? Well, product 2 is not found, but what it leads to is people being able to enumerate our database. Let's see if we can solve that. Now what we have here in our database, as we look at the content, is we have this product code, and we define this product code as unique. So let's key off the product code rather than the product ID in all the things. So first step in our API, let's make the product interface work that way. So here we have a code. Let's call it product code. That's what the column is. It's now no longer a string, but we can say or quote quote, and then we can actually do some optimizations here. If not product code, missing paren, then let's just bail out really fast. res.status 404.end, and we'll just say that was not found. We don't even need to ask the database if you didn't pass us an ID. Where product code is product code, and now our API will work based on product code, not based on ID. Let's make a similar change here in our components. Now the cool thing is our Vue is the one reaching out to our product, our API. So let's put product code there, product code there. ID, that's what our route passes in. That's fine. Arguably, then we could just say ID here, but because a product has an ID, I'd rather flip it over to product code. So product code is still a string, but now in our interface, we'll have to tell it product code is a string. Now the last place that we need to solve is here in the product catalog. When it creates a product list, this explore button currently goes to /1. We need to go to a /product code. So here in our product list works based on page numbers, so everything is fine there. Our product list component, the one that actually does the rendering, here, instead of product ID, let's grab product code. In this case, we're now not exposing the product ID to the interface at all. That can stay as a database-specific concern. So that's great. We've got our product list. We can dig into our product detail. Ooh, we need to restart our API. I did notice, though, something kind of interesting. It's giving us a not found page as it's loading. Let's solve for that too. Here's our test product. It loads. Oh, we got a 500. Could not proxy request. I think the API hasn't started yet. In a future episode, let's also look at NodeMon. Okay. So everything works as expected. That's cool. We can navigate to our product list. We can navigate to our product detail. We still get that not found as we start up. So product detail view. Currently, we have no concept of loading. Let's say div v if loading. And we can say div v else show all the rest of this stuff. So while it's loading, I don't want to show the not found page because I have no product. I want to show a loading message. So our interface now includes loading, and let's set that to false. Not false, Boolean. Yep. Here in our data, loading is false. Or no, loading is true rather. When our component is first created, it'll be true. When it's mounted, let's also set it to true just in case. This dot loading equals true. And then once we're done getting the content for good or for ill, this dot loading equals false. Now we could set a breakpoint right here so that we can take a look at it and see if it's actually going to show the loading page, because this will probably return so quickly. Ooh. That looks great. It's showing loading. Now let's put that inside of a card, because we could make that look pretty beautiful. Let's create a new component, new file, loading.view. In this case, we could create a more beautiful loading experience. Now we'll want to pull in a card back at the Vuetify page. We probably don't need anything amazing, just a regular old card. That one looks good. Oh, not that much. Let's grab the V card. We'll probably want to play with colors a little bit too. This is not the not found page. This is the loading page. So let's say this is loading. Icons are neat. Let's pick an animated loading icon in time. Right now, I'll just leave it as the default. I'm going to take out the card text and the card actions because there's nothing you can really do during the loading screen until we're done. And we can probably also give it a little bit more styling. Style scoped, so these styles won't leak out into other components. And I'm going to say dot loading margin top, or let's just do the entire margin, 200px, and then auto. So it'll not quite be at the very top of the screen. We've got our loading component now. That is great. Here in our product detail page. Now, if it's loading, let's pull in that loading control. And the loading control can do all of the loading bits. We'll pull in our loading control this way. Loading. And we'll also include our loading component as one of the components in our product. Ooh, extraneous comma. Now we still got our debugger breakpoint in there, so it's not going to go very far. But let's do this. We're loading, that's perfect. And now we've gotten the result. So right now we're pulling in the Twitter image. Let's see if there's a loading image. The icon, icons. We could pull in the Font Awesome icon pack, but by default, it uses these material design icons. Is there a good loading one? I'm not seeing one. So next time, oh, I don't think that's actually the icon list. Search. Nope. Next time, let's look for a better icon. Maybe we'll spin and do some interesting things. For now, that works. Pull out our debugger. Fire up the app. Our product list. We can dial into a particular product. That works great. So today we did a lot. We fixed our Vue app to run on a different port. We dialed out both the API and the components to be able to wire up the product list page. And though we don't have a way to navigate pages yet, our API is future-proof there, being able to navigate pages and also being able to show only active products or also showing inactive products if we wanted to. We dialed out the Vue, the product list component to loop through all of the products and navigate then into the product detail page. We also noticed that we could get our database enumerated by a search engine because we're using that numerical ID. So we switched from using our ID to using a string, our unique product code instead, so that now navigating through pages also is more search engine friendly. Join us next week on our new home on Twitch at twitch.tv/memsql, and we'll dive into the next thing. Thanks. Bye-bye.